What's up, 12s? This is Victor, and welcome back to Seahawks Nation Update, the home of your reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. We just dominated the New England Patriots on the biggest stage, and now the front office might be preparing to make two shocking moves that could completely reshape this roster. And I'm telling you right now, this is not small stuff. We're talking about possibly trading away a young quarterback with 4.37 speed and elite dual-threat upside, and cutting ties with a Super Bowl-winning veteran receiver who just helped bring a Lombardi trophy back to Seattle. Let's start at quarterback. Last offseason, when Seattle signed Sam Darnold after moving on from Geno Smith, there was real debate about the future of the position. Then the Seahawks drafted a former Alabama star, third-round pick with blazing track speed and raw arm talent, and suddenly fans started dreaming about the future. This rookie ran a 4.37 40-yard dash. He had gadget packages early in the season. There were whispers he could eventually challenge for QB1, but after a costly fumble in October, his snaps disappeared. Meanwhile, Darnold caught fire and led us all the way to a championship. Now there's a proposed trade sending that electrifying young quarterback to the Miami Dolphins for the 75th overall pick. Seattle only has 4 picks in the 2026 draft. A third-rounder would be valuable. But are we really ready to give up on a 22-year-old dual-threat weapon still on a cheap $6, $2 million rookie deal? Because in today's NFL, one injury changes everything, and that's not even the biggest shocker. There are serious predictions that a 32-year-old veteran wide receiver, a former Super Bowl MVP, a route-running technician, a postseason assassin, could be a cap casualty. Yes, after winning his second ring. Despite delivering when it mattered most, his regular season production dipped to 593 yards and just 2 touchdowns. His 1.39 yards per route run was a career low. Now there's a $17, $5 million cap hit looming, a $9 million roster bonus about to trigger. If Seattle moves on, they clear nearly $10 million in space. That money could go toward locking up foundational pieces like Kenneth Walker III and Rick Woolen. And with the emergence of Rashid Shaheed, the front office might believe the offense can stay explosive without the veteran price tag. So here's the real question, 12s. Are the Seahawks about to make cold, calculated dynasty moves? Or are we about to watch 2 key contributors walk out the door just months after a championship? Would you trade the young speedster quarterback for draft capital? Would you release the Super Bowl-winning receiver to protect the future? Drop your takes in the comments. And if you're a real Seahawks fan, if you're still celebrating that Lombardi trophy, smash that like button and subscribe to Seahawks Nation Update. We're pushing for 2,000 subscribers, and only true 12s are helping us get there. Now let's break down the cap numbers, the roster strategy, and what this could mean for 2026 and beyond. All right, we've got a spicy rumor to talk about. Because there's a proposed trade floating around that would have Seattle cut ties with Jalen Milroe just 1 year after drafting him. Let's break this down. The proposed trade, Milroe to Miami? According to Bleacher Report's Alex Ballantyne, the Seahawks could trade Jalen Milroe to the Miami Dolphins for the number 75 overall pick, a third-rounder. That would mean Seattle moves on from a third-round quarterback after just 1 season. That's aggressive. But let's rewind for context. How we got here last offseason was all about the quarterback debate. Seattle signed Sam Darnold to replace Geno Smith. Then, just 1 month later, the Seahawks drafted Milroe out of Alabama in the 3rd round of the 2025 NFL Draft. At the time, there was real debate. Milroe ran a 4.37 40-yard dash. That's wide receiver speed at quarterback. Elite athletic traits. Huge arm. Raw but electric upside. There was even a scenario where some fans believed Milroe could push Darnold by the end of the season. Well, that didn't happen, because Darnold just led this team to a Super Bowl. The depth chart reality. Last season, QB1, Darnold QB2, Drew Lock, QB3, Milroe barely saw the field. And when he did, things got rocky. After a costly fumble in the October 5th loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, his offensive packages were quietly shelved. From that point forward, he was developmental depth. Now here's the key. Milroe is still on a 4-year, $6, $2 million rookie contract. That's cheap. That's controllable. That's valuable insurance. Why the trade is tempting Seattle only has 4 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. That's not many. Turning a third-string QB into a mid-third round selection at number 75? That's strong asset management on paper. Especially when your QB1 just won a Super Bowl and looks locked in. And from Miami's perspective, they might be looking for athletic upside if they pivot from Tua Tagovailoa. Milroe's tools are intriguing. His speed is rare, his ceiling is high, but ceiling and readiness are two different things. The risk of moving him. Here's where I pump the brakes. Quarterback depth matters. One injury changes everything. We saw it across the league this year. Milroe is still developing. He's learning from veterans. He's absorbing the system. And at 22 years old with elite athleticism, his growth curve could spike in year 2 or 3. You don't usually give up on that after one season, especially when he barely played. My honest take is a 12. If this team truly believes Darnold is the guy for the next 3-4 years, then yes, flipping Milroe for draft capital makes sense strategically. But if there's even a 10% chance Milroe becomes something special, you don't rush that decision. Quarterbacks with 4.37 speed and legitimate arm talent don't grow on trees. And we've seen too many teams regret giving up too early on developmental QBs. So now I want to hear from you. Would you trade Milroe for pick number 75? Or would you keep developing him behind Darnold? Is this smart roster management or too early to give up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate this like real 12s. But the cuts don't stop there. We just watched our Seattle Seahawks lift the Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl LX. We beat the New England Patriots on the biggest stage. And now, just days later, there's already talk about cutting one of the biggest names on this roster. Yeah, you heard that right. There's a prediction floating around that the Seahawks could move on from Kupp after he helped us win a Super Bowl. Before we dive into this, smash that like button right now if you're a real Seahawks fan, still celebrating that championship. And if you believe this team is building a dynasty, hit subscribe and help us reach 2,000 subscribers. Only the true 12s are allowed in this movement. The report, cap casualty after a ring? According to analysis from the Sporting News, there's speculation that Seattle could make a strange financial decision and release Kupp this offseason. Let's break this down calmly. No emotions yet. Kupp just won his second ring, one with the Los Angeles Rams years ago and now another with Seattle. On the Super Bowl stage, he showed up when it mattered most. But here's the issue. During the 2026 regular season, 593 receiving yards, only 2 touchdowns, career low target rate just 1. 39 yards per route run, a significant drop from his prime years. For comparison, during his historic 2021 season with the Rams, Kupp put up 947 yards and 16 touchdowns. That version of Cooper Kupp was unstoppable. This version? Still smart, still clutch, but clearly not the same explosive weapon. And here's the financial reality. 17s. $5 million cap hit $9 million roster bonus triggers mid-February. Cutting him would free nearly $10 million in cap space. That's not small money. The bigger picture, youth movement. Look at the roster. We traded for Rashid Shaheed at the deadline, and he exploded down the stretch. His speed changes coverages instantly. Defenses have to respect him vertically. We've got Torrey Horton developing. And then there's the long-term vision, extending core young stars like Kenneth Walker III and Rick Woolen. Those guys are foundational pieces. This front office just built a Super Bowl winner. They're not thinking emotionally, they're thinking dynasty. If freeing $10 million helps secure Walker long-term, helps keep Woolen locked up, that's how championships are sustained. But here's where I get torn. As a fan, it feels wrong. Kupp showed up in the postseason. He's still one of the smartest route runners in football. His football IQ is elite. On third down, in big moments, he's still money. And let's not ignore leadership. After winning Super Bowl LX, you don't just throw away veteran championship DNA lightly. This reminds me of how the NFL works. Cold, calculated, and always forward-looking. The question isn't, is Cooper Kupp still good? The question is he $17, $5 million good in this offense? That's the real debate. If this team was rebuilding, no question. Move on. But we're defending champions. If the cap works and restructuring is possible, I'd try to keep him one more year, especially if his role becomes more situational and playoff-focused. However, if it comes down to keeping young cornerstones versus paying for past production, I trust this front office. Championship teams make tough decisions before decline becomes obvious. Now I want to hear from you, 12s. Would you cut Cooper Kupp to free $10 million? Or do you keep the veteran leader after a Super Bowl run? Drop your take in the comments. And again, if you're a real Seahawks fan still celebrating that Lombardi Trophy, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Let's push this channel past 2,000 subscribers and keep building the strongest Seahawks community on YouTube. This is Victor, Seahawks Nation Update, Super Bowl champions, and we're just getting started. Go Hawks!